That gorilla tape, yeah, I think it's there. No, I'm good, thank you, Judy.
We are streaming and recording.
Why,
We're gonna play I got it.
okay.
So we're starting the time.
So anyway, I told him, hey, you want to look different? Watch today at 1 o'clock. Well, yeah, if you can double up with that Zucker letter, maybe. Not like we don't have enough to think about right now, but I have to go this way.
These airwaves belong to us for the next hour. We'll be hearing from a number of your fellow Coloradans. 9 News political experts Ryan Frazier and James Mejia, as well as Brandon Ritteman, who's standing by in the debate spin room. This is Balance of Power. You make the call. Ellie, you were in the room for the debate.
As a student who is incredibly interested in politics, I found it fascinating just to be part of a live television event.
I appreciated that they didn't engage in the back and forth that a lot of these moderators usually want.
This format was horrific.
Who tonight actually kind of impressed you?
I think the winner of the debate was Marco Rubio.
I think Rand Paul is the best one, but let's be honest, he's probably not going to win.
I think my man did win tonight. This was the Ted Cruz that I've seen.
I think Marco Rubio really proved his points tonight.
I've got to agree with everyone else. Cruz and Rubio took the night.
We look forward to talking with you as this political season continues. On the next Balance of Power, you make the call.
Hello and welcome. We're live now here on November 25th, 2015. I'm Diane Diamond, and this is the Video Call Center. This is a live virtual tour of our facility here in Palisades, New York. If any time during this virtual tour you would like to call in, ask a question, give a comment, all you have to do is jump on your Skype account and find us at the Video Call call center, no spaces in between those words. Right off the bat, let me introduce our group to you. This is Tom Porpelia. He is our production manager. We have two associate producers who also act as our editorial screeners, Nicole Levy and Johnny Gallietti. There they are. Will Milne is our software developer and software manager. We also have Alex Mazie, our IT manager, and our management advisor, Larry Thaler. They're both calling in via Skype. And last but not least, I'd like to introduce you to our CEO and founder, Tom Mozine. Tom?
Hey, thanks, Diane. Thanks, everybody, for joining us on this beginning of a Thanksgiving weekend. Best to you and your families for this weekend. Here at the Video Call Center, we're trying to do two things. First, we're trying to develop a totally new genre of television, video caller television, where anybody can call in by video IP address from anywhere in the world, hit call screeners, not a conference, but hit individual discrete calls to call screeners, be editorially screened, and then move to a host who actually runs the show. The important thing is, and this is the second piece of it, this is a totally new technology. This is a semi-automated technology where the host operates and runs the program with no control room. Just like 60 years of talk radio, basically, where the talk radio hosts run their own board. No control room, same idea. So all this started for me about 5-6 years ago when I started becoming increasingly concerned about what was happening with audience fragmentation. Audience fragmentation of linear television was occurring and continues to occur as now 100 and 104 rated cable networks all moved to full distribution. Previously, maybe half of them had full distribution of pushing 100 million homes. Now all of them do. That's a lot more choice. DVR penetration was steadily increasing. And of course, we've had the advent of on-demand video, SVOD and advertising-based VOD. All of those give us as consumers lots more choice, lots more places to go, but the problem is for linear television is it fragments the audience, and when you fragment the audience, you fragment the revenue. So the revenue also has been fragmenting over this past 5 years. At the same time, the costs of production have not been going down. So the question was, is there a model that we could use that would help provide a revenue stream that met the available, the costs that were running in the industry at the time? And the answer is, well, not the way you used to do things, but the way we're doing things now, yes. And with a automated host situation, with call screeners, a show where everything is coming in live and everything is different every time you go on the air, you have a new type of very compelling television, and that's what we've been developing here at the Video Call Center. To give a better idea of the technology you'll see in today's tour, here's our Senior Management Advisor, Larry Thaler, coming in on Skype.
Hi, thank you, Tom. So we're going to see a lot of technology, and there's a couple of things to keep in mind as we see this. First is that the entire show you're about to see is being done live by our host, Diane Diamond, but it could be any host, and she's controlling it. There's no control room. So there's really two segments of the automation technology and the technology here that we're going to show you. And the first is the automation systems that Diane is using that the host can control the show. And I like to think about this as a self-driving car. Diane can tell the car where it wants to go, or where she wants it to go, and then take her hands off the steering wheel, and the show will continue to drive itself. So she doesn't have to think about what the next shot is. She can just simply talk and have conversation with people on the air. The second piece of technology is the call screening system, and the call screening system we're going to go through in detail. Nicole's going to give you a demo in a minute, but we call it the CAT, the caller acquisition technology. And the goal of this system is to bring callers in to make sure that those callers are the type of callers we want to have on air, and then hand them off to the host. And so very simply, two pieces, the CAT, the caller acquisition system, and that HAT, the host automation tool. So put those two together, and that is the Video Call Center. So back to Tom. Thank you, Tom.
Yeah, thanks, Larry. We'll go to a run-through of showing you how the caller acquisition system works with Johnny Gallietti. Diane will take us through how the host position works. Will show us how the touchscreen, stand-up touchscreen system works, very efficient. And Larry will also take us through the remote host concept. The remote host concept is something that our investors, Tegna, have been using at KUSA in Denver since August. What basically it works as is a host in Denver can actually drive the factory here in Palisades, New York, where all the calls come in and all the calls are screened. Right after the GOP debate at the University of Colorado at the end of October, Tegna, KUSA, did a live hour that was 16 remotes, but with no crews, only IP video, that was run entirely by Kyle Clark, their senior anchor. No control room, no crews, no control room, 16 remotes, live studio show, commercial, sponsored, that went on for an hour post-debate. And let's roll a piece of that so you can see what it looked like.
These airwaves belong to us for the next hour. We'll be hearing from a number of your fellow Coloradans. 9 News political experts Ryan Frazier and James Mejia, as well as Brandon Rittiman, who's standing by in the debate spin room. This is Balance of Power. You make the call. Ellie, you were in the room for the debate.
As a student who is incredibly interested in politics, I found it fascinating just to be part of a live television event.
I appreciated that they didn't engage in the back and forth that a lot of these moderators usually want.
This format was horrific.
Who tonight actually kind of impressed you?
I think the winner of the debate was Marco Rubio.
I think Rand Paul is the best one, but let's be honest, he's probably not going to win.
I think my man did win tonight. This was the Ted Cruz that I've seen.
I think Marco Rubio really proved his points tonight.
I've got to agree with everyone else. Cruz and Rubio took the night.
We look forward to talking with you as this political season continues. On the next Balance of Power, you make the call.
Tegna's 9 News in Denver. Balance of Power, you make the call, live for an hour out of the GOP debate. 16 remotes, no crews. 16 remotes, no crews. Live for an hour, no control room. Live for an hour, run by the host. That's what the video call center can do. Let's take you through how this works. First thing is to talk about screening. And before we go to Johnny Gaglietta here to talk about how she operates as a screener, what I wanted to show you is what screening looks like for a minute in real life during a real show. In this case, one of the 5 shows, Broncos, You Make the Call, again done for KUSA in Denver, where they preempted Entertainment Tonight during the Broncos preseason. Here's what it looks like.
Hi, thank you for calling You Make the Call. This is Nicole. I'm going to be screening you today. How are you doing?
Hey, my name is Ryan. I'll be screening you today. So let's get you set up.
And what did you want to call to talk about? 18-game season? Just before we get started, if you could just back away a little bit from your computer. Hold on one second.
Where are you calling from, Bill? And that's Longmont, like long, M-O-N-T. What's your question today or comment about the Broncos? Awesome question. I got you set up here to go on air. So you're ready to go on air. They'll take you anytime now. Hey, you're not trying to pick a fight with the announcers, are you, Bill?
You have to be 18 years of age in order to participate on the show. If you have ID that you could show.
Your mom or your guardian can come on the air, but you can ask a question. She can be on the couch with you guys, definitely.
Okay, Jeremy, then we're going to have to clear the lines for other callers. Thank you so much for calling back.
So that's what it looks like behind the scenes for our screen callers, call screeners rather. Now let's go over to Johnny Gaglietti to show you up close.
This is the caller acquisition tool, also known as the CAT. I, as the call screener, will be the first editorial line of defense for any caller who would like to participate in our on-air program. I simply take simple information such as their name, anything that the host needs to know, the topic that they may want to talk about, the location. I judge them to make sure that they are air ready, sober, clothed, anything to make sure that they're perfect for air. And after I'm all done with that, I will clear the caller and bring them over to Diane so she can bring them onto her program.
And this is the point at which social media, people calling in on the internet, mesh and marry to mass media. And it's right here with our patented console screen. Let me give you a very quick tour. I have 2 cameras here, 1 and 2. I have 2 HAT monitors, host automation tool monitors that tell me where I am in the automation and how much time I have left in the shot that's on the air, and which callers I've activated. These are my on-air screens here, and this one is most important. These are the callers who are cleared and ready to go on the air with me. They've gone through the editorial process. As you see here, Alex Mazie is on D. It's A, B, C, D, W, X, Y, Z. And I know if they're up here, their name, their location, and the topic they want to talk about. So, again, this allows the host to control every aspect of the show, every single aspect. For example, on my upper console, I can open the show with a touch of a finger. I can go to a commercial break with a touch of a finger, close the show that way as well. I have pre-programmed videos in here, which I can activate again with a touch of a finger, and preloaded stills as well. Unlimited numbers of preloaded stills and videos. So when a host begins a show, and I've trained all the hosts here, it takes about 10 hours or so, they say hello. They get ready because they have their hand on the lower console and they know exactly which caller they're going to bring in. Here is a close-up of the lower monitor here. You see they rest their hands on that inverted hand mold, and if they want to bring in caller A, B, C, or D, it's just a matter of hitting a green button. Like this, for example. I say, "Hi, Larry Thaler, how are you?"
I'm well, Diane.
And the automation automatically takes over. It keeps the screen lively while I can concentrate on the content of the show, whatever the topic might be. I can also bring in a second caller, again, just by hitting a green button. There's Alexander Maisie, and now the automation system knows I have 2 callers in. And look, no hands. Automation keeps it lively, and I can concentrate on what they're saying and what I want to say. I can also bring in a third person if I'd like. There's Johnny Gallietti again. I introduce her. She's up full for a while. And then I have 3 people on the air with me. If one of them gets a little rowdy or the conversation is simply over, I just say, "Okay, goodbye, Johnny." And she's gone. So when there is a great conversation going with, say, these 2 people here, I can freeze the system, again, using the lower console. See that pause button? It's down there near the yellow Z. I can simply pause them, let them talk. And if I want to insert myself, check this out. All I have to do is say, "Hello, but I want to say something," and go back to them. "Hello, I want to say something again," and go back to them. The rhythm of the show depends on the host, not on a control room. Try doing this with a traditional control room. By the time a host tells the floor manager they want to get in on the conversation and they tell the control room, the moment has passed. You know what I'm talking about. So let's go back to the 2 callers, no host. Here we are. But the system will bring me back in when I tell it to. So here we are, and we're talking about, say, the weather. I can bring in a still like that. Again, with the punch of a button, I can bring in a still about the Paris bombing, for example. Or maybe we're talking about politics. Again, it's a simple touch of a finger on the touch screen. I can bring in a video.
At the intersection of social and mass media, TV and the web, this is the Video Call Center.
So there you have it, as simple as touching buttons. There's one more button that I haven't told you about yet, and it's right here. It's called Producer Media, the blue button, and I'm going to let Tom Porpelia tell you all about what that does. Tom?
Right. So being a live show, we figured out that we needed a way to bring media onto air without knowing what it was going to be beforehand. So what we developed is a producer media button that if Diane presses, we could actually show you what it does. There we go. She presses producer media, and it brings up a computer screen that the producer actually controls. So right now we have the videocallcenter.com up, and as you can see, it's just a web page, but there's videos on it, text on it, stills on it, and you can scroll through it. Another web page is Facebook, and this Facebook actually has a video that Kyle Clark made before the Balance of Power show, and we'll run it for you.
Hello, interwebs. This is where we typically talk politics offline, the stuff that doesn't always get on TV. Well, on Wednesday night, the folks in charge at 9 News are giving us the station. Balance of Power, you make the call, 8 to 9. Call us via Skype, and we will analyze the GOP debate in the race for president together. Why are they giving us the keys to the car? I don't know, but let's have some fun.
So as you can see in that video, Kyle Clark isn't using the hat that we have here in the studio. He's actually using a remote host unit that was remoted in Denver. So to explain that a little bit more, let's bring in Larry.
Thank you, Tom. So the remote host unit, the key thing here is that it does all the functions that Diane was showing you from her control panel, from the local control system, but allows you to be connected anywhere that you have a good, stable IP connection. So we can put this at a TV station like a KUSA, where we've run a number of shows remotely from the host there, or we can put it in, so there's the KUSA, you make the call with Drew, or we can put it in somebody's house. So this is set up in Diane's living room, and she actually hosted a show from her living room. So all we needed in that case was her Verizon Fios connection in her house. We connected up, and poof, she was controlling a show. Really extraordinary. Unlike anything that exists, there's no remote trucks coming up outside the house. We have one case of equipment, basically. We install single IP connection, and away we go. So, thank you. So now we're going to go to Will, and Will is going to show us another way to control the host automation.
Great. Thank you so much, Larry. So what I have behind me is the Top Hat, or the touch-operated host automation tool. So Diane has the host automation tool where she's seated and she has green keys and she can bring in callers, but I can do the same thing standing up in front of this board. If I want to bring in a caller, like Larry Thaler, for instance, I just have to touch the top half of his video, and he joins the system just as if Diane hit a green button on her console. Same goes for adding another caller. If I want to bring in Johnny, I just add her in, and we're in all together. The cameras have now automatically switched to the co-host mode, and the touchscreen has taken over. We've actually done shows with two hosts at once before, and Diane will expand a little bit about that.
Yes, you can configure this any way you want, but there's a touchscreen right back there, and Will and I did do a show together from the Consumer Electronic show. We had people at the show, and he and I co-hosted it. Let me just pause for a moment and say, if you have any questions about what you are seeing, if you have a comment about our system, just jump on your Skype account, find us at the Video Call Center, no spaces in between, and hop on, be part of our conversation here. Let's go back to Tom Woolsey.
All right, thank you, Diane. Thanks, everybody. There's one thing here to point out that's been going on besides Diane running the whole show from where she sits there, or Will running the entire show from the standing up at the touch screen, Top Hat, and that is that you saw Larry coming in, Alex coming in, as many callers come in on Skype, but we actually were running, Johnny is coming in on FaceTime. Punch up the Johnny call for a second. So Johnny's there, she's coming in on FaceTime, intermixed. If you go to the wide shot here, you see there are eight call computers, and Johnny's on FaceTime. The others right now are running on Skype. Gives the option for clients to be able to pick and choose the type of IP system that provides them the best production capabilities, the best access to audience, and of course the license conditions that they want to operate under. So what we've provided is basically a wrapper, a package that allows anybody to call in from anywhere in the world using various different IP video approaches, hit the call screeners, make sure they're, as Johnny said, sober and closed, get passed off to Diane to run the show, or Will, it's somebody at the touchscreen to run the show, and that's it. What you see is what you get here at the Video Call Center. So we really thank you for stopping by this afternoon. Before we go, what I'd like to do is go around the room and let everybody talk about some of their favorite shows that they've been working on during we've done well over 100 hours now of online production prior to the dozens of shows that we've now done for the stations of KUSA through Tegnar Investors, all under the patented technology here at the Video Call Center. That patent was issued in the summer of 2014 for the unique approaches, technology, systems, and business approach to what we're doing here in Palisades, New York. We'd like you to come by and visit us. And as we wrap it up, Johnny, what's your favorite show?
Favorite show that I've worked on is a live music show where music fans around the globe can call in and interact with their favorite artists of today's music industry.
Yeah, and I've been working on a celebrity entertainment show where people from all over the world call in and share their opinion about some hot topics going on.
So I've been working on a show that follows college tailgates across the country, and we see how they, what rituals they do before the big game.
And one of my favorite shows that we've been pioneering here is a shopping show. We call it Talk Shop, and we bring in merchants from all across the world, put them in touch with the people who may buy their products. We think this would be great for Home Shopping Network, QVC, Etsy, maybe Grommet. So we've been developing that here at the Video Call Center. Tom?
So that's it here from the Video Call Center this day before Thanksgiving. Technology and systems and approaches here that are patented, unique in the business, economics that allow you to produce programs without a control room, unique in the business, a caller acquisition system that brings callers in from around the world, not as a web conference, but one by one, discreetly, so they can be checked out by call screeners and separately approved for air, essential if you're trying to protect a broadcast license, and overall, a package that is stunningly economic and totally different and a new type of television. Thanks lots. Let's take a look at some of our callers around the world as we go out.
Hi, I'm Ted McAleer, and I'm in Sevilla, Spain.
We've got Caracas, Venezuela.
And right now I want to go to Holland. We're talking to Karen.
Barbara calling us from China. Victoria Lewis in London, England.
Now I'm very excited to go to Egypt.
Let's bring in Dr. Ash again here in Canada. This gentleman is calling in from Australia. We're going to bring up Alex, who is somewhere at sea.
Hello, Agina, in Alabama.
Joe in Scottsdale, Arizona. George Whittam, talk to me from Santa Monica, California. Keegan, who's calling in from Colorado. Randy Kay, she's in Trumbull, Connecticut.
Mutu Sivaroglu from Washington.
Yeah, I'm in the wheelhouse of the tugboat.
We've got a ferret in Illinois.
I'm going to go to a caller right now. Nick in Bloomington, Indiana.
Chris is calling in from Maine.
We are in Maryland.
Rosie and Brian Amador, and they are in Cambridge, Massachusetts.
We've got Adam from Michigan.
Yep, Dick Ravasti in Minneapolis, Minnesota, the frozen tundra.
Tom Deere, he's in Parsippany, New Jersey.
Hello, Roger Thompson, Albuquerque, New Mexico.
So you're in Citi Field, the Yankees are playing the Mets. What's going on with the game?
From the beautiful mountains of Asheville, North Carolina, Dan Friedman.
Let's go over to Renee. She's in Ohio. Carrie Lehan, who is in Oklahoma City. Dr. David Grube is with us from Oregon. We've got a skunk in Philadelphia. We're going to have Sam in Aiken, South Carolina.
Let me get your thoughts about what it's like to be a veteran in Nashville, Tennessee these days.
We've got a talking parrot in Texas.
Mike, you're up in lovely, the Green Mountains, Vermont?
Yes, Sin Village.
Bonnie Morgan in Richmond, Virginia.
Hi, Bob and Bean from the beer capital of the USA, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.